Hello everyone. You may be curious about why I am wearing this hat. As you can see, this is Mario's twin brother, Luigi's hat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Neon, and today I'm going to go over what I think might happen with Nintendo in 2023. Keep in mind, this is a purely speculative video, so obviously stuff is going to be wrong. With all that said, let's get started. Let's start off with talking about Mario. So there's a lot of different things Mario can do at any given time. The one I think I would like to see most that I think could happen is a new Mario and Luigi. Now, yes, Alpha Dream did go bankrupt, but we're at a time period where if Nintendo had wanted to kind of move that team over to a different studio or give the property to a different studio, they totally could do that. And we could be seeing that this year. I don't know if it would particularly launch this year, but I think we could see it in like a Nintendo September Direct, or maybe at the Game Awards. Next, we have 2D Mario. 2D Mario is actually pretty likely as well. It's been 4 years since Super Mario Maker 2, and it's been over a decade since New Super Mario Bros. U, not including the deluxe port on Switch. So, something with actual brand new levels and mechanics and stuff could totally happen. I think it would be a New Super Mario Bros. 3 or Switch or whatever they're gonna call it, because the naming conventions are kind of thrown out the window with this series, but I think it's totally something that could happen. I think they could do something different as well, but I don't think they will. 3D Mario. This is also something that could happen, but at this point, I'm almost expecting them to just save it for their next generation of systems, because they're going to want a 3D Mario to launch it. One of the big reasons the Switch succeeded and the Wii U failed was because they had that big Mario title in the first year, that big Zelda title in the first year, whereas the Wii U didn't. So I think it'd be smart of them at this point to just save the 3D Mario, especially considering there's not gonna be a big new Zelda for the beginning of the next system, probably, considering Tears of the Kingdom releases this year. Next thing I want to talk about is the Year of Luigi. So that was 10 years ago at this point, 2013, so technically we could see another Year of Luigi. I wouldn't get my hopes up on this. I really want that, but I don't think it's gonna happen. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna be announced in the February Direct that we're probably getting, but I just don't really see how they could do it. Next Level Games just released Mario Strikers Battle League, so they probably don't have another Luigi's Mansion already. And I don't know how many other games they would do that are gonna be like Super Luigi themed, you know? So I'm just not seeing the cards lining up for this one. I would love to be proven wrong, though. Then we've got Mario and Sonic. I think this one's a lock for this year. I think we're definitely getting this game, because the Olympics have been giving the kind of rights to work on the Olympics IP to Sega for the Summer Games consistently since 2007 was the first one's release. Whereas we didn't get one for Winter the last time or the time before, because Ubisoft got that license. So I would reason to say we're gonna get Mario and Sonic this year, and we've probably seen the last of Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics, unless they start putting the two together, which I think is the way they should go about it, but you know, what are you gonna do? Then we've got Dr. Mario. They could do this. I don't really care about it, so but they could totally do it. Next topic is remakes and remasters. I think we could see quite a bit in this category. Super Mario Galaxy 2 would be something that a lot of people would get excited for. Same with Paper Mario Thousand Year Door coming over, or maybe other Mario games like maybe Mario Baseball or something else like that. But I think this could happen, but I don't think there's a way to specifically say whether or not we're gonna definitely get something like this. Now, you may have noticed that there's a few series I have definitely left out of this discussion for Mario. Mario Party, for example, is a prominent one that Nintendo still has going on, but I don't think we're getting it this year. If you take a look at the past release dates for Mario Party games, going back to I think it was 8, it's been a 3-year development cycle between each one. So, if we follow the schedule, and I think we should, we are not going to get another Mario Party until 2024, which will be 3 years since Mario Party Superstars came out. As for Paper Mario, it's the same thing, but it's a 4-year cycle, and it's been since the very beginning of the series. The first one launched in 2000, 1000 Year Door in 04, 08 for Super, 12 for Sticker Star, 16 for Color Splash, and 2020 for Origami King. I don't think we're going to get another one until 2024. They may even push it back for the release of their next console if it doesn't come out in 2024. So, I definitely think it's not something that's going to be happening this year. I already mentioned I don't think there's going to be another Luigi's Mansion because Next Level Games, the developers of the series, did indeed actually release Battle League last year and have just finished rolling out the DLC for it. So they've been busy with other stuff. They might have multiple teams going on over there, but I highly doubt it. As for Mario sub-series, we've got Donkey Kong. There has been rumors of a new Donkey Kong game for quite some time now. As evidence with Fire Emblem Engage, Nintendo will sit on games to kind of fill a gap. So, even though those rumors are pretty old at this point, they could totally be legit. I wouldn't keep my hopes up. I do think Donkey Kong's gonna get something soon. There's been an emphasis on him in the Mario movie, and at Super Nintendo World, that's eventually gonna get a Donkey Kong area. So, it goes to reason they're planning something big for DK. So hold tight, Donkey Kong fans. I know it's been 9 years, but soon I think you're gonna get something. As for what it'll be, the rumors are suggesting a 2D game with like 3D kind of elements, similar to what Metroid Dread did with like some of its action sequences. That could be pretty cool for Donkey Kong. Think Jungle Beat, kind of, right? That was really cool, really fun. A 3D Donkey Kong would be super cool in my opinion. We haven't gotten one of those since 64, which, you know, beginning of the 3D era had its issues, whatever. But I would like to see them have a modern approach to that. Moving on to Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom. And then I think at most we might get an announcement for DLC for it at the Game Awards. Or we might get an announcement for a Zelda port at the Game Awards, but I don't think that we're gonna get another Zelda release this year because of Tears of the Kingdom. They want to have their stuff ready to launch a new game every year, so it goes to stand they're not gonna want to actually just double down in a year. The only reason I can see them actually doing this is for a new console release, to really try to bring people over. And as I previously discussed, I don't think that the next Nintendo console is going to actually launch with a Zelda, unless it comes out in like 2027, 2028. Next we've got Pikmin. Holy shit, it's Pikmin 4. People are speculating it's going to be delayed because it's Pikmin, but I honestly don't think so. I really hope my optimism is not misled here, but genuinely I think we're going to be getting this game this year. Probably in like not May, because that's Zelda release date, unless they want to screw Pikmin, in like maybe August or October or September, somewhere around that time. We usually see moderate releases around that time, and I think Pikmin fits that kind of perfectly. Next we've got Fire Emblem, and this is actually a really interesting situation. We're getting engaged this year. We got Warriors 3 Hopes last year, which was a really disappointing game in my opinion, by the way. So you would think that the team probably is not going to have anything aside from DLC for Engage this year, right? But people who leaked literal images of Engage like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and mentioned that there would be a Warriors game and a new game, also mentioned that there would be a remake. I think they specifically mentioned Fire Emblem 4, I don't remember which one that is specifically, but I really hope that's true because Echo's Shadows of Valencia was so good. I would love to see them remake another one. Oh my gosh, that'd be great. As for Metroid, obviously there's like rumors and stuff going around about a Prime HD kind of thing going on, or a Prime Trilogy HD sort of thing. Not sure how to feel about that. I feel like it'd be smart of Nintendo to do that, but at the same time, it's Nintendo. They don't always do the smart things, right? So I think we might just at most get a Prime 4 reveal. We could get get it released as well. I can see it being like maybe an October game, but I would put my money on it actually releasing sometime next year, like in March, to end off the fiscal year. So I don't think it's going to release this year. Now we've got Pokemon. So obviously Scarlet and Violet just came out. I've heard it's a good game, haven't had the chance to pick it up myself, and I think it's inevitable that we're going to get DLC for it this year. right? I'm thinking something probably kind of similar to what they did for Sword and Shield will happen. It'll be a story expansion. People speculated going back to Kalos because it's right there on the map, which would be cool, as that was my first Pokemon game. But, yeah, I think that's kind of what is going to be slated for Pokemon. I think we're also going to get some spin-offs, though I couldn't say what, because I don't really keep up on those a whole lot. So it is what it is with that. I don't think we're going to get another Pokemon remake until next year at the earliest, 2025 at the latest. And then Legends, I think, is going to be kind of like a tri-annual release kind of thing. Beginning of 2025, late 2024, somewhere around there, I think is a good time for that. But as for Pokemon, they do so much, it's kind of hard to predict for them, right? Anyways, now we have Xenoblade. I don't keep up with the series, I don't really care for it, but DLC seems kind of like an inevitable thing for it. I think they actually mentioned they were doing DLC. So that's probably going to be at least be announced this year, probably released to some capacity as well. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about Xenoblade. As for Kirby, there's a lot of things they could do. They're obviously releasing the remake of Return to Dreamland. They could do a Kirby side game. They've been known to kind of do that with Kirby specifically. We got the Kirby Fighters and Kirby Battle game earlier on in Switch's lifespan, ported from 3DS. They could totally do another thing like that. They did the kind of smaller Kirby Fall Guys sort of game last year, which was cool. And they did Forgotten Land last year. They could do DLC for the remake that's coming out, but I don't think that's really going to be something that they go towards. I think they're going to, if they do DLC, go for Forgotten Lands DLC, which, you know, Star Allies had a good chunk of DLC from what I remember, so yeah, I think that's totally on the cards. Now let's focus on Nintendo Switch Online. So with Nintendo Switch Online, there's a pattern that's kind of started happening, where aside from the gap between NES and SNES, they've released a new console on the service every other year. And 2023 is going to be the year where it'll be that every other year, since they added N64 games, which means there's probably going to be another console this year. Now the question is, which one would it be? They could go for Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, kind of split that between the regular tier and the expansion tier, Game Boy on the regular tier of course, and then Advance on the expansion, or they could go for something kind of like GameCube, which would be really cool, but it's Nintendo. I can't see them doing GameCube at least anytime soon. They're gonna want to hold on to that. So my guess is they are gonna be doing Game Boy to some extent, just because I cannot see Nintendo wanting to release GameCube without making them full-priced games, or at least like full-priced remasters quite yet. But I'd love to be proven wrong. Nintendo has a host of other content that they could totally do stuff with, right? So let's go over that. Advance Wars, that game is in limbo. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just shadow dropped at a direct, honestly. If they're just like, oh yeah, Advance Wars releases in like a week, go pick it up, right? Kid Icarus, I don't think they're gonna be doing anything with that. Uprising Remaster would be something I'd appreciate, because I don't want to pick up the 3DS version, because A, it's expensive, and B, touchscreen and buttons does not work well for left-handed people like myself. So something with dual sticks would be greatly appreciated, not just by people like me, but by people who have already played the game, because a lot of people do say that that game's like one issue is having a bit of a clunkier control scheme. Wario, he's not getting anything. He got WarioWare in 2021. I think Wario Land is pretty much dead in the water at this point, depressingly. Again, I'd love to be proven wrong on all this, like, negative Nintendo stuff, right? But I don't think it's gonna happen. Then we've got Yoshi. Yoshi's due any day now for a new game. It's been 4 years since Crafted World, so either they are going to release a new Yoshi game this year, or announce it this year and release it next year, or they're just going to sit on the game until the next system, which is also totally a possibility. Since we're so far into the Switch, this next system talk is really relevant to everything. Then we've got Splatoon. I think there's definitely going to be story DLC akin to Octo expansion. It'll be $25, or it'll be available via the expansion pass for NSO. Mii games are another thing Nintendo's done in the past. They have not made a new one since, what was it? Miitopia in 2016, and then they've just re-released Miitopia, and I guess they did Switch Sports, but that's like a Sportsmates title, not really a me title. But they could totally do something like that again. I don't think they will because, again, Switch Sports did just launch last year. I think they're going to want to kind of ease off on the Avatar thing for a bit. I think there's a lot of potential. Tomodachi remaster or, you know, stuff like that would be greatly appreciated. All that said, I think my final predictions for the year are we've got Fire Emblem in January, Octopath in February, and maybe Advance Wars Shadow dropped then. Then in March, we're going to have, we have Bayonetta in March. I didn't mention that, but she's getting her side game. Kirby's somewhere in there as well, remaster. Then in April, I think it's either going to be a dead month or something small is going to release, like DLC. Like specifically Mario Kart DLC is definitely going to happen in April, I think, because they've been doing pretty consistent every 4 months with that. As for another thing in April, we could get something small announced at the Direct, like maybe I mentioned Dr. Mario, that could be something, or they could do a Pokemon spin-off. May is going to be Zelda month. Definitely Zelda that month, that's been confirmed. And they keep saying, oh yeah, it's gonna be May 12th, it's gonna be May 12th. I'm just gonna assume they're not gonna change the date this close to release. They've got ESRB ratings going out and stuff. That means the game is like ready to ship, right? So I think that's a lock. And then June, we're probably gonna see like, I can see Splatoon DLC in June, I can see Pokemon DLC getting announced in June. And then July, I can see maybe Pikmin, and then that's pretty much it. They usually have a down month every year in May, but it's kind of odd this year because obviously Zelda's in May, so who knows? August, I think we're going to get probably something like maybe 2D Mario? I think that sounds solid enough. September, we're going to get, I think, Mario and Sonic. October, we're probably going to get, I think if there is a Metroid game, it'll be a lock for October. So, you know, Metroid games are known for their atmosphere, it's kind of spooky. Spooky and October kind of go hand in hand because of Halloween, so I think that would be set for that. November is going to be their big game of the year. If they have a new 3D Mario, it could be there. If they have a big new Donkey Kong, it could be there. Their big game's kind of releasing in May, so... And then December, I don't think there's really going to be anything. However, all this changes again if Year of Luigi is something that happens, so here's my guess for that just off the top of my head. So, Year of Luigi would get announced in February. They're going to announce their porting Dr. Luigi over to Switch as like a kind of shadow drop thing to kick it off. Then in June, I think we would have something kind of like maybe a Luigi's Mansion remaster of Dark Moon or the original one. I think that could drop at some point. That'd probably best be saved for October though, actually. We could get a Mario and Luigi sometime in the summer, maybe with a focus on Luigi again. I don't know if they'd want to repeat that or not. And that's kind of all that would change. Maybe 2D Mario with Luigi Focus, New Super Luigi U2 could be cool. Something that could happen for Year of Luigi. Like the first Year of Luigi. It's got an emphasis on him, but it's just kind of like, oh, we have all these Luigi projects going, let's make it a year theme for advertising, right? So, it could totally not happen. And I don't think it will. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a comment stating what you think Nintendo's going to do in 2023. Have a good day.